Hello.
There we go. This is fine either way.
All right, sounds good.
I'm on the air, but I still have my starting screen up, so we got a minute or two.
All right. Fantastic. We're again. We apologize in advance for any slights that we may inherently or inherently lob the general community.
It happens. You know, nobody's perfect. I'm actually gonna try using a controller again today. I was messing around earlier, just sort of getting my computer settings right, and it worked pretty well. So I'm gonna try to do that while I play and see what happens.
Nice.
I'm gonna turn on my fan. Hopefully it won't be too loud in the background, because damn it's hot as hell here.
Where are you at?
Eastern North Carolina.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Yeah. My dad's out in Virginia. My grandmother's out in Bull City, and yeah, I heard about the humidity and the rain you guys have been just getting nailed with.
The rain has finally calmed down, but I want to say it was last month. I think it rained every day for a whole month. When I went to go and mow my lawn, I had to wait between rain showers in the same day. Like, it rained and then it stopped. So I ran outside, I mowed and I weed eated, and then as soon as I got back inside, torrential downpour. So, well, fuck. Like, at that point, that's all I can say.
You gotta give Jay PTSD, man. The last time he was in any kind of super humid stuff, we were in the Philippines, and I thought he was gonna die.
Oh yeah, oof. I bet.
Ever heard of sous vide?
Vaguely.
Yeah, I'm just getting slowly boiled under the
I believe it. But yes, hello internet. We're gonna do a little Elsword today, and we're gonna be talking with some of the people from COG, and probably gonna put this on YouTube probably tomorrow, I hope. Jamie's at PAX West, so this might have to go up on Monday, this stream, but it will definitely be up. And once you guys send me a VOD or something of the tournament that I think is tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to actually be starting our prelims and qualifiers today, and then all of our live streams are going to be done tomorrow.
Because I think Erica said she was going to send a VOD of it or something for us to share, which I will absolutely make sure happens.
That's very generous. We will definitely send that. I'm going to finish my monster first before I talk again.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But yes, hello internet. I haven't played Elsword in a little while. I've been really busy. I've been doing a lot of closer stuff lately, because I do like a good side-scrolling beat-em-up. A bunch of reviews have been on the docket, so I finally get some time to sit down with Elsword. So I'm very excited to do that.
So what are you doing in Elsword? What actually draws you? I don't get to talk to the media people when they see Elsword. It's usually like, okay, here's Elsword. Here's this game that's been around for 7 years. Let's talk, guys. So when I hear people literally sit down behind Elsword, just recently actually, you kind of get institutionalized after a while.
Mm-hmm.
You've been behind the helm for this many years. It's kind of rough to look at it with fresh eyes, but because we've been doing so much in Elsword over the last year, hearing the different perspectives now that are coming at us from a different angle, it's fresh. And I like the fact that we get to hear now about what Elsword's all about from these fresh eyes. And so I'm actually really interested to hear kind of what your take is on it.
What draws me to Elsword is I grew up in the 80s, so I had a lot of experience with side-scrolling beat-em-ups, Combat Tribes, Contra, Avengers. And so I like that style of gameplay, and
yeah, man.
This was the first side-scrolling MMO that I really played. I didn't get into MapleStory. MapleStory doesn't appeal to me, even a little. which is, I guess, kind of awful. Well, Maple Story 2 is very good. I really enjoy Maple Story 2.
I've tried.
But what draws me to it is that it's a very easy to pick up side-scrolling MMO, and it feels like an action game, and I play so many MMOs for work that in my downtime it's very hard to make myself, play an MMO, because I don't want to just sit there and click and press 111, 123, or whatever my dumb rotation is in a game like World of Warcraft. I want it to feel fun. I want it to be action-oriented and be enjoyable. And Elsword gives me that. The characters are all really varied and really interesting. And no matter what type of character I want to play, I have that option. And then I love advanced classes. I love advanced class systems. I spent a lot of time in MUDs.
Oh, wow.
When those were popular, and even several years after they stopped being popular. I ran my own. And so, one of the MUDs I played a lot had advanced classes set up in the Final Fantasy universe. So,
cool.
I really enjoy having the option to expand a base class. Having a regular class is great, but being able to do other stuff with it and being able to customize it, that helps. That makes it a lot more fun for me.
Very cool. And you hit the nail on the head. I think what did we talk about the progression of like the different character classes and kind of why they do what they do in the world of Elsword before?
I think we have, but it might not be a bad idea to go back over it.
So when you have all of the different characters that we have in Elsword. So we're technically 13. I mean, if you take the Lou and Seal and kind of take them apart. But each character has 3 paths. Each path has 3 levels, or what they call 3 jobs, including base, I guess, technically.
Tiers.
Yeah, like 3 tiers. And so here can literally play like a completely different character. So at the end of the day, with Rose having 4 jobs, we have 37 ways to play these characters. Lore, and it's that varied. Like if you were to play like one of my main character, Chung, the job path that I play is called Comet Crusader. But if you were to try to play one of his other job paths in the same fashion or capacity that you play Comet Crusader, you'll die. It's a completely different character with completely different sensibilities. Comet Crusader is a really tanky, kind of lurky character. However, if you sit down behind the character and you learn his methodologies, his meta, you can make that character fly like Ripley wouldn't believe. But you couldn't play Centurion or Fatal Phantom, which is the other 2 third path jobs, in the same way. They play completely different. Now, some of the characters don't necessarily have that level of the vast varied play style, but some of them have an even more varied play style. Like it feels like it's a completely different character altogether. But the fun thing on the PvE side, on the RP side, is every single one of the characters' paths is actually an alternate reality of that character. So that character,
that's really cool.
Yeah, he made a life decision. This character path was the virtuous one. The other one was the path less traveled by. The other one was F it. I'm going off the rails, mother truckers. We're gonna kill people. So it's that varied, especially with like our character Ad. He literally was like, I'm the sciencey guy. Science, God is dead. And then the last one is
science time.
It's a science time. And then the last one is, I'm going to use the space-time continuum to twist reality to my own personal twisted goals. And so it's...
Well, his goal wasn't twisted. It just became twisted during the journey.
Yeah, reality.
He's easily one of my favorite characters in the game.
Oh, Ad?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I like the look. I love the attacks.
Yeah, purple Tron, zap, and the super maneuverability. Yeah, I can definitely get behind that.
But I like all the different options, and there being reasons for, you know, why this character. It's not just, hey, we just slapped a different skin on him, you know, and that's it. There are storyline reasons behind it, and I dig that. And I just sat there for like 10 seconds shooting a rock because I am the best.
Yeah, you get that.
I am very good at what I do.
You'll give that rock PTSD. He'll never look at you.
What I do, hell yeah. But all the characters really feel interesting. And again, I'm a big anime fan too, and so the anime look and feel is something I really enjoy. And that was one of the first things. Like, is this like? Because when I first started seeing the characters, and they were characters, not character classes, I was like, so is this based on anime? Like, did I miss something? And
you know what's fun is when we started that whole foray into the verbiage, like we say, you know, the tagline that we've had for years now is play your manga.
Mm-hmm.
But the funny thing is the game wasn't based on a manga; it was manga inspired in its design. But later on, we had mangas made for the game. Now we have an anime made for the game, and so it was fun. It's weird to basically say, okay, we're gonna have this game line story, you know, all of that kind of stuff moving in this particular direction, and it's kind of inspired by all of our dev team being fanboys of, you know, in one capacity or another. And then to have all of that kind of double back, and then we actually have anime being made for our game, manga made for our game.
That is,
you know, the
really
characters.
Cool.
But yeah, we were wary at first in that approach overall, but now we wouldn't have it any other way.
And I also like shooting tons of bullets at things that may or may not deserve it. So I think I picked the right character for me right now.
Which character are you playing? You're playing Ad or?
No, I'm playing as, what's her name? She has the 4 different gun types.
Yeah, Rose.
Yeah, because that's who I played. This is the character I started last time you guys were here.
Oh, yeah, you said you're gonna go with the Optimus route, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. You like all the stuff coming out and killing stuff.
Mm-hmm. And I've been using the auto pistols right now. But no, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say those things are annoying. Coming from a PvP player, that's yeah. There's things that happen later on with those guns that's annoying.
But it's not pleasant.
Oh no, you get like you can start building up on like different armor types that add stat effects and stuff, and one of the stat effects. Okay, so one of the stat effects procs on number of hit. Basically, it procs on chance of hit, and every single one of her bullets procs that different chance to hit. So she goes brap brap brap. It's not 1, 2, 3. It's every bullet that hits procs that ability for lockdown.
That's ridiculous.
And so now it works fantastic for her because on the off side, you know, when you hit, you give your target MP. Mm-hmm. And so some people will run in going, whatever, I'll absorb all those bullets so I can stack the MP. But if they're unaware of the fact that you have a chain lockdown effect that could proc on each hit, yeah, then it changes their whole outlook on life. You're like,
suddenly they're not so keen on it.
Well, and by the time they realize what's going on, it's way too late, because even characters that can teleport can't teleport past that lockdown.
So they were going to try, but you know.
Right.
But I do have a couple of questions I wanted to run by you guys today.
Yes,
so I think today our focus was going to be on quality of life and PvP.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the big ones to me is I was looking back through some of the patch notes, and I saw that the first, second, and Transcendence class change tickets can be purchased in the ED shop now.
Yep.
First time history of the game.
What was sort of the thought process behind that? Was that something that the community really clamored for, or?
From day one, the community was always going to ask for a in-game currency version of lots of things. I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
You have, so a lot of games, especially games that have been focused on coming out of East Asia, have, in some ways, have mastered the time versus money equation. The free-to-play version is you go in and just grind it out, and you play just, in some circumstances, hours and hours and hours in order to achieve X. Or you go into the cash shop and you drop $5, $10, whatever the case may be. That was always an equation that we've seen across the board, but you never necessarily saw an in-game currency version of time versus money. Because you're stacking all of this currency, this in-game currency that you buy for all of these other things, and in a lot of games, in-game currency doesn't buy you crap.
That is so true.
So I think the offset is you have all of these players that have all of these options and all of these opportunities, and they put all of that time, and then we have this resource that honestly isn't being tapped into, but is still a very strong representation of how much time our players are putting into the game. So now they have an out. There's now a tab on our shop in-game that gives players the ability to dump all of that ED, that in-game currency, to buy items that are highly sought after. Now, they're not cheap, but it is still, you've been given the opportunity to take all of that hard-earned in-game currency and put it towards something that is going to make sense, not just trash time.
Yeah, they're not advancements, they're changes, yeah.
And so let's say you make a wrong decision, you pick the wrong path, and you get knee deep into the game, and you're in the end game, and you've got to switch, and that's an expensive venture. Now it's not expensive because we're going to take all of that time and dedication you put towards that one particular effort, give you the opportunity to reroute.
I guess I should have you guys introduce yourselves, huh? I take for granted that I do this. If you guys would be so kind as to introduce yourselves to the audience.
My name is Danny Noss, VP with KOG Games, and I go by GM in game.
I'm Jay, project manager for Elsword, and I go by GM Pie. I like pie.
So no, it's not GM Rush, sorry.
No.
Oh, did we just get sidelined? Oh. No, Rush is a great guy. Great guy.
Yeah.
But that was actually the next thing I want to talk about was the price, because the minimum cost is 50 million, I think, and the final one, the Transcendence, was I think 200 million ED.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, they are GMs. Yes, absolutely. I am not. I'm just some dork that plays video games for MMOHuts. As for someone who is still reasonably new to the game at large, how hard of a grind is it to make that much ED? And if do you have any advice for someone who is trying to, grind it out?
Honestly, let's say I leveled from level 1 to 80-ish. You would have at least 50 million. Easy. So the ED is actually not that hard to get. Breaking billions is more of an issue, but at the same time, if you look at the market board and see the demand for the things that you can get from grinding, you can make money really fast.
Okay.
And when you look at the progression, the numbers look big. Just the sheer number of zeros you see at the end of those numbers look big to somebody who's not familiar with what's going on in the game.
Yeah, it was kind of daunting to look at for me.
Okay, so it's daunting.
Shit.
But what happens is when you jump into game and you start to play through some of the end game stuff. So on a reroll recently, I had rolled an Eve character and specifically made sure I stepped away from any of the bonuses that were going on in game. So we're always doing things for additional experience points gains, like 200, 300% at times. And we even just did a recent event where every level started at 50%. So you're literally leveling up only the last 50% of each level. So we do a lot of those kind of events. I made sure to avoid all of it to make sure I went on a dead grind with no assistance. And it took me, I'd say realistically, with a casual play, maybe 20 hours, 16 to 20 hours, I hit level 92.
Yeah,
92. And that's a hard grind on one character. And you can have how many characters per account now?
A lot.
20? No, because I think they wanted 25 or something.
I think it's 13 or 14 or something.
Is it 13 or 14? Was it that low?
and then you unlock it later.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I mean, you get to, you know, if you start one character and you want to run that, don't worry about it. But it's not that bad. And so when I hit 96, I looked at my cash, and I didn't spend a lot of cash, or a lot of my ED on a lot of gear, but I was sitting on tens of millions. And that was just focusing on story quests. I didn't do any side quests. I didn't do any NPC quests. It was 100% story grind, start to finish. And I had well over 100 million. And so if I made a bad decision and I went, because you get to job change at, you're first at level 15, and then at level 35, and then at level 99.
Transcendence is similar.
Well, Transcendence is, but that's still on the same path.
Yeah, you still have to do that.
So you don't get to change your third job until you get to level 99. But if anywhere along that path, so you hit your level 92 and you find out that second job path that you changed into just wasn't your cup of tea, and you're doing a lot of YouTube research, and you find out this, you know, this other job is where you want to go, you have the means on a basic grind that's only going to take you a couple days to completely jump onto a path that will allow you to play more towards a character and job that you like. You don't have to start back over again, but you have the opportunity if you want to. So you can leave that character there and say, you know what, I want to start that same character and then play, you know, if I'm playing Chung, Comet Crusader, and I was like, you know what, I want a character with more mobility and better resource management. I'm going to go play with Fatal Phantom. You can start a second character, same character, down that same path and get him up to a reasonable level within a couple days too, and now you have the opportunity to play either one.
Okay, so it's not an outrageous grind, but it is a grind.
A bit, yeah. A bit.
Hey, that sounds alright by me.
If you play with any of our events that we run regularly, then there's no grind. It is just, but it's fun. It still stays linear. You know, you get into some of those games. I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus. Or you get into some of those games where they have like their jumping events or the EXP events. You gain rate.
I'd throw them under the bus.
So you get into these games, and all of a sudden they just smash you with a bunch of experience, and you lose track of the storyline. You don't know what NPC to go talk to. You're completely lost, and they were just, hey, we don't care. Look, you have a max level character, and now you're bored because you lost the whole essence of the game from start to finish.
That sounds like a game I was actually playing not too long ago. I was getting back into, and hell with it, I'll throw them right under the bus. I was trying EverQuest 2 again.
Wow.
For the first time in like 5 years. And I had like a level 110 character or whatever it was. And I was like, okay, now what?
Dude, I can't tell you.
What the hell do I do?
Right, they throw you in the middle of town. They're all, look, you have a max level character. You're all rad.
Aren't you glad?
Okay. Yeah.
How do I attack?
How do I do anything?
Yeah.
Your skills are all screwed up. They've completely rerouted the game. No, there's no tutorial. There's no introduction as to all the crazy stuff going on. It's sink or swim. Have fun. But aren't you glad you have a max level character?
Ugh. But yeah, it does seem pretty reasonable to me. Is it Eliza Viel? Did I say that right? If not, I tried. But yeah, the grind has never been really all that bad for me in this game. Whenever I start a character to just like mess around on.
But you know what? What's to be completely honest, if you had started the game 2 years ago, or even a year and a half ago, that grind was a lot more brutal.
I believe it.
So even our quality of life updates, we've had stamina. We technically have stamina now, but we've adjusted. The quality of life has made it so that every time you level up, your stamina resets to 100%.
Yeah, that was something I saw in the patch notes.
And so when people are like, get rid of stamina, we're like, we don't have to now. So every time you level up, you go back up to 100. And as you progress, you'll see stamina pots actually start to become part of the quest rewards and stuff. And so in the off chance that you ran a dungeon 16 times and failed, here you go. Here's a consolation prize for really needing to get good. We're sorry, not sorry, but here's the stamp pot. Go ahead and take another shot at it. 30% stamp right back to you, or 20%. I think is the quest reward stamp pot. So we got your back even if you suck.
I can appreciate that kind of honesty.
Yeah, but we're not going to tell you suck. We're just going to say, you know, here's some stamp pots.
Maybe you should try
but,
that.
Yeah, you have the option.
Yeah, economy is sort of a tricky thing in all free-to-play MMOs. That is hell. And most of the subscription MMOs I have they have economies. It's about all I can say about them. Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
And you know, I'm old school. I know you are too. So I mean, we're going back to games like, you know, you brought up EverQuest. The first massive MMORPG game I played was Asheron's Call. I mean, to literally like just jump into it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And obviously, I was playing on Darktide, which was the PvP server, which, you know, you can't even buy anything without looking over your shoulder expecting to get ganked.
Oh, so it reminds me a lot of Ultima Online.
Oh, dude, yes, sir.
I hated Ultima so much.
But we couldn't stop playing.
Yeah. Oh.
You could not play.
Because I was such a big fan of the regular Ultima games, so I couldn't stop.
Well, you know what the trick was, and I think us old school players were kind of institutionalized into the fact that if you didn't like the economy, don't buy into the economy. Mm-hmm. And so when I hear so many players nowadays say the economy sucks, and they're like, this stuff is too expensive, then don't pay for it, or you know, cut somebody's throat, you know, obtain the max. Yeah, not literally. Unless you had to gang.
Don't literally commit murder. We're not condoning that.
Just in case.
But you know, you get these people that they're talking about, you know, the economy. Like, what is the game company going to do to the economy? I'm like, we're not going to do anything. And that's where I kind of maybe as a company man in the game industry maybe need to lighten up a little bit when it comes to getting at our players about it. But when I say the community is what built the economy to be what it is today, and built on that supply and demand, who built on, you know, the different effects that are there. It's whether you're spending the in-game money or you're using the shop and turning that kind of stuff around. It's that implication or the impact of what the community-run economy is going to represent is something that we're going to have to agree to understand, truly understand. The only time things get silly is with like you know, gold farmers or anything like that. Then that's a variable that is unacceptable. But that's on me. Like if we even come close to hearing about somebody being a gold farmer, they're obliterated from the face of the planet, nuked from orbit, the whole nine. Like we have absolutely zero tolerance for any of that stuff under any circumstance. Nice. But when it comes to other players basically playing the economy, you know, like if I was a player that was selling these items, and I see other players selling those items for cheaper, I'm going to buy those items and then flip them and turn them back onto the shop to make a profit based on this and that. And you get to play that side of the economy and have it make sense. But a lot of players are like, I don't want to spend that much money. Well, you don't have to. You can go grind it out. There's other ways to do it. But yeah, when it comes to economy in general, I think we came from a different time where that kind of stuff was what it was. Mm-hmm. It was just different. Now it's almost like we have to do something as a company, like we're obligated to mitigate or to, you know, kind of set boundaries, and I kind of, my jaw drops a little bit, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, we're not gonna be giving them training wheels or safety fences.
Yeah, you know, or you know, they said caps, you know, to make it so that people can't charge more than X, and I'm like, no.
Forced economies. I experienced that in the game, and that thing is frustrating.
Forced economies?
Yeah.
Which,
Black Desert.
Oh, Black Desert.
I was, like, literally, because everything was, like, capped price,
mm-hmm.
Like, I wanted this item, and I had to wait, literally, like, 2 weeks, constantly looking at the market board, like, is it up? And then when you bid on it, you also have to let the RNG choose one of the bidders, and they pick. So I'm like, why?
So you bid an X amount, and then it RNGs as to who actually will get it based on the fact that you've now paid the max amount allowed for the cap economy. Oh,
That was like the first time I tried it. I was so confused. I was like, why? Why is this like this? Why are you this way?
I agree, though. People aren't really obligated to get anything. And I think a lot of in Wales, on the topic of Wales, I do as from a player perspective, Wales can really make things unenjoyable in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
you can't stop them. You're not going to say no. Don't spend money on my game.
Right. And then you have the game. The game is built to cater to X, and if that X happens to be a whale, then that's what you built the game to cater to, whether inadvertently or otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if this guy spends this much money and achieves X, and you weren't prepared for X, then that's your fault as a developer, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Just for your information, I'm a whale, and I'm very pleasant to play with.
I'm a pleasant whale. I will carry, bro. I will carry.
I appreciate that kind of honesty.
I spend way too much money.
But that's on the flip side, though. In kind of what Jay's talking about, there are the whales that literally pay to make your life a living hell, especially in the PvP scenes and stuff like that, or the games that actually cater to that kind of stuff.
I've played a bunch of those.
Well, I'll throw ourselves under the bus on that. Years ago, we had items that were in game that became part of the pro PvP circuit in Elsword. Ring of Fury. Yeah, see, Jay knows exactly what I'm talking about. The Ring of Fury gave all of our players, in its initial concept, one free bead of awakening. And when you activate your awakening, you have one iframe and also one freeze at the same time. So when that's activated, your opponent's going to freeze, sort of one delay frame. And then basically what it turns into is you have a free catch. However, the only way that ring was attainable was by cash.
Oof.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough.
So in the PvP circuit, a tenth of a second is game changing.
Oh, absolutely.
So
especially
what happened
in action games like this.
Yeah.
So there was a huge conflict of ideologies in what's acceptable practice in the MMO idiom. So a lot of our East Asian players are very used to that mindset, and so they would say, well, if you can't afford a Ring of Fury, you can't afford the PvP. Or, you know what I mean? That's basically taking away from those who are pouring everything into it. So, with a lot of the different, East Asian like RPGs, there are certain behaviors that were expected, not accepted, expected.
Yeah, let me tell you this legendary game called Lineage 1.
Lineage.
In Korea. I looked around and they're like, if you want to start Lineage 1, because everyone there has been playing it for like
12 years.
Yeah. So over a decade, easy.
Yeah. So I wanted to try Lineage 1. How much should I spend on buying items from players? They're like, at least $4,000.
Jesus.
I'm like, why are you playing this game again?
Well, it's something I've brought up in a couple of instances. I think it's fascinating. I was doing an interview on site for a game, and the Korean devs had to be prepped for what the American journalists were going to ask, because I guess they're not used to being questioned.
Right.
Like whatever decision they make, that's a law, and in the Korean space, that's not questioned. But over here, it's like, no,
Yeah, we want that. We want the transparency. We want that. We want to hear the logic, and we want to hear. We're spoiled over here.
If it's a move made solely out of greed, we want to know.
Yeah.
We want you to be honest and say, yeah, we're trying to get your money.
Yeah, we need to keep the lights on, guys. That server rack cost us almost $200,000. It didn't pay for itself.
I did have another thing in the quality of life that I saw that was kind of interesting. The energy shards and fusion energy discs can be traded now.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, why don't you run that down for me a little bit, because that's something that I'm kind of I don't know very much about.
So basically, there's at the end game there is a dungeon called Ad's Energy Fusion Theory, which is only able to be run by yourself. So you have to be good. You can't depend on anyone else to carry you.
No carry, man.
And you can only resurrect 3 times per run. And at the end of the match, a boss drops. There's a chance for the boss to drop a weapon cube, which was the strongest weapon in the game, but now is the second strongest weapon in the game with the new raid coming in. But in order to use that fully, you need to have energy shards that you use to upgrade it.
Gotcha.
There's up to 15 stages, I believe, and then as you progress, you require more and more and more shards. And because also this drop was RNG, people who got it in like 2 runs or 3 runs, now they don't have any shards. Or people who didn't get it at all for like 1,000 runs or 2,000 runs.
So now they can trade them with their friends if they have
You
them.
have to make money off that now instead of just sitting on it and hoping for the weapon to drop before they die.
And when he says money, he means the in-game currency. ED.
Yeah.
And the thing is that the fun thing about that, so Jay's just talking about effectively. I'm still going to call it the most powerful weapon in the game, the most powerful attainable weapon in the game, because nobody's even beat our raid yet. Not a single group has beat our raid, legitimately.
Oh, wow.
And so yeah, no, our raid is hard. This is like well, we can talk a little bit about that quality of life update later, but the thing is the Ad's Energy Fusion Theory dungeon is 100% free to play. So in order to attain the most powerful weapon in the game, you can't pay for it. It's not tradable. You have to go in and beat this dungeon. You have to beat this dude until you're blue in the face. By yourself. And it's only free to play. You can only get the most powerful item in the game by free to play. And that actually goes for all of the most powerful armors or armor sets, and all of the most powerful accessories at this point are free to play content. You have to go, now you can trade to go get all that stuff for ED, but if you don't want to deal with that with the economy, if you don't want to deal with anybody else, you can go grind this stuff out and it's yours. And then it's not just attaining is only the step 1. And then you have to upgrade. And then you have to go get all the shards and stuff. So we have incentivized the grind for you to go do the grind so that it makes sense. It's not just for points. It's not just for rep. It's not just for all of the other things that a lot of games have thrown into it. There's a benefit to the grind that will literally give you a competitive edge in either the in-game content or PvP.
Nice.
And now we made an improvement so that those people with 3,000 runs under their belts and don't have the weapon, now each run you don't get the weapon drop chance increases.
Okay. So you made it a little more reasonable to get it.
A little more reasonable, yeah, but still very RNG and like very, very hard to get still.
See, Jay is being facetious because I, with my crap RNG, is going to have to run that dungeon 700 times.
You're still going to have to do it forever.
Yes. How many times did you run that dungeon before you picked up your weapon? 5. Not 500. Not 50. 5. Single digit. 5. You have people out there that are literally
he's
like
an asshole. That's who he is.
He's an asshole in more ways than you can imagine. I'll have him actually open up ice burners for me because he'll end up picking up a weapon or armor, which is like a 0.2% drop rate, and he's like, "Oh, look, a weapon," and I'm like, "You dick." How?
I have a friend like that in Warcraft. I hate it so much. I spent 12 years farming for Thunder Fury. That is not an exaggeration. I finally got it right before this expansion.
Congrats.
I was so mad.
In WoW, I had the worst luck. It took me, actually, it didn't even take, because I tried for 1.5 years in Molten Core to try to get my Paladin and Shoulders, T1. Didn't get it.
Never.
Still. I still don't have it.
Still don't have it.
And all that bad luck just now turns into good luck in Elsword.
So it's finally paying off for you.
Yeah. I didn't know it was going to pay off, but I guess.
Oh, so yeah, that's what I was going to say earlier. Is you're like, why are you guys talking about Elsword? These are our play accounts. So we're not allowed to actually build out our play accounts. So all of our play accounts are different from the GM personas that we see, and all of that stuff is actually gained organically. Oh, so when I say he's making rolls on stuff, we're not allowed to beef our accounts up in any capacity. We can't cheat. And so our players are literally playing with us in game and they don't even know it. That we're actually right alongside with them. That when we have items and we understand what they're going through, we understand what their RNGs are and their pains, the wailing and gnashing of teeth, we all experience firsthand.
Jay doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
The next one took me 500 runs.
The next one. How many do you have?
I have 3 now.
Oh, you have 3 now.
Yeah, I'm trying to... I have 21 max level characters. I play a lot of Elsword.
Let's see. What else did I have for you guys today? Outside of the quality of life changes we've already talked about, are there any outside of those that you guys think are really important to highlight?
Yeah, so remember I told you we had a raid, pretty much the end game content?
Mm-hmm.
So because the Varnamir story was tied to beating the raid, we decided to add story mode difficulty into raid.
So we were talking about earlier about that raid being just bloody hard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't even like bloody. That's not even a description. This content is, and it's not so hard that it's impossible. It is just true to form, like
really hard.
Like we're talking like Cuphead level. We're talking like these games are just
Meat Boy.
This is like just hard. Like one of the boss fights, dude. I'm not even kidding. Is a straight platform. He's looking to knock you off the platform so that you die.
What a dick.
I know, and so like I talk about, you know, back in my day. I mean, you played in the '80s too. Like,
hell yeah.
Platformers, like you expected, you had a zen moment because you know this game was going to piss you off so damn bad that you're going to bust your keyboard in half.
Ninja Gaiden.
Oh yes, sir.
Ninja goddamn Gaiden. That game used to make me
that game for 1 hour, returned that so
angry.
fast. So we have to give you so the history on that is a lot of the end game dungeons we have are hard, and so without needing to nerf it entirely for everybody, we added a story mode difficulty
so people can get through the story.
So they can get through the story. So it lowers the difficulty, but it also lowers their the return on investment for their treasure at the end.
It won't have the good rewards that you get.
Yeah, you'll still have to earn those.
Yeah.
But you still have access to the story, so you can still progress through the dungeons. Now, what caught us, even with us on this side, it caught us off guard, and I had my spider sense tingled. So when they added this dungeon, and I actually saw how it fell on the map, I'm like, holy crap, this is content. You have to actually compete in this dungeon to progress to the next part. And so we were like, nah.
No way.
No way. And then next thing we know, hey guys, you can't. They were on the sauce, man. They were like, you have to compete with this dungeon in order to progress. And we're like, what? And so now they're going to add the story mode to the raid portion, and also they're adding a bunch of nerfs too. So they're making this new content.
Some of the broken interactions that didn't happen when we have spells that have black hole effects that gather things. It didn't work, so we fixed that. And bug issues where the boss just spontaneously explodes and dies. That happened. I don't know how.
So that's stuff that's on the way.
Yeah. Though some of them, the boss dying thing is already in the game.
Okay.
But story mode will be in next Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah, this coming Wednesday.
Sweet.
Also, we're getting a new dungeon as well to wrap up Varnamir region story-wise.
So this was
looking
we were
at the
talking
trailers
about.
for that.
Yeah.
It just passed the raid dungeon. So this is now going to be, you have to, once you complete the raid dungeon, now this is the end game of Varnamir.
And the worst part is, this is like a cliffhanger ending. I'm like, no, don't do that. I'm so curious.
Well, we jumped the tracks on that because when we wrapped up the end of the last season, everyone thought that the storyline was coming to a close.
Yeah, it was kind of like a happy ending.
Because the Elsword, the titular character, got stuck into the actual L itself, He sacrificed himself to save his sister, who was now like the next Lady of El. And when you become the Lady of El, you lose your memories and everything else like that. So he decided that he was going to sacrifice himself. And so the storyline was kind of wrapping up. And next thing you know, the whole company went dead silent for a period of a couple months. And now the storyline had ramped up, and we're going into this demon world with Varnamir, this massive raid content. Now we're adding the last 2 dungeons, and it turns into a legit cliffhanger. So you know this whole battle is about to open wide up.
That'll be awesome then.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else do I got for you guys? Let's talk about that PvP then, because I hear there is a super cool tournament going on this weekend. And I am a sucker. I'm a sucker for a good tournament.
So this is our return to the official 2v2 PvP foray. So we have not run an official 2v2 tournament in over a year. Now, the reason being was because there were a lot of changes that hit the game that threw so many different variables into the PvP realm. That it just wasn't a good time. There were too many things to take into account, too many changes to the game. I mean, we're talking like changes that even changed the direction of how the game.
Even Transcendence was back then, the last one.
No, not the last 2v2 tournament.
Transcendence, 4 skills, 3rd job, like everything.
ERP.
Went, crazy. So we had to find the moment where it was like calming down a little bit and we'll get used to it.
And so basically all of our PvP players started tying all of this new stuff into their formula, into their meta for PvP, and had it make sense. And it took a long time, and it took a long time. And so players are solid. The game is more competitive. We now have PvP normalization options. We now have observer mode in PvP, when none of this stuff was available a year and a half ago. So now it's here. Now we have all of this tied in, and this is the return to it. So not only are we returning to the official PvP 2v2 stuff, the last tournament we ran was with esports with IE4 OP Noobs. The tournament before that was like our influencers were helping us run a multi-pronged tournament effort, and now we're back to running the official KOG Games 2v2 format, and we are putting both cash and currency on the line. So basically cash.
Because I think we discussed it last time you guys were here. You were just revealing that this was going down.
Yeah, that we were going to actually build out another cash tournament. And I'll be honest, like, we're still evolving our tournament idea, how we're setting up these tournaments. And so, like, we're trying different things just because we did things so by the book and on the rails for so long. I mean, we used to run tournaments every month, and we're kind of changing things up to kind of get a feel on how we're going to do it. And not everything was perfect. Not all the changes we made were as well received as we'd hoped. But now we have a better idea, and now this is just going to be the first tournament. So we'll be having our rounds 1 and 2 today, our qualifiers, and then we're live streaming rounds 3, quarterfinals, semis, and finals. Live streaming tomorrow with our guest commentator, starting at 5 p.m. both today and tomorrow Pacific time.
Awesome. And where can people watch that at?
Twitch.tv/Elsword.
Fantastic. I'm hoping to sit down and watch some of it today. If not, I'll definitely catch the VOD. Because I love watching like high-speed PvP. I love that stuff.
Yeah, our PvP players never fail to amaze.
It's actually my first exposure to Elsword was when I was playing against some of the better PvPers in the world. my very first exposure, I was still sort of new in games journalism. I think I'd been around for about a year. And our boss at the time, Darren, was like, hey, why don't you do this Elsword thing with us? You'll get in on a PvP character, and you'll learn a little about PvP with some of their best PvPers. And I said, well, that sounds like a terrible idea. I'm going to be awful. That does not sound fun. But as it turns out, I did learn a lot about how the game works in the PvP scene from it, and I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun, even though I was very, very bad. It was very bad.
Now, I get a question on with how much I mean, you're always checking out games. You're always seeing stuff. How many games do you actually run into where you actually have that high twitch feedback, that tactile feedback from a keyboard that you'd experience with Elsword?
In PvP?
Yeah.
Outside of fighting games, occasionally in MOBAs, but that's... I mostly play support, so I don't really get that. Like all my friends that play Assassins do. What's up, Mike? I usually only really get that from fighting games. That's one of the reasons I like this sort of platforming action PvP style gameplay. That's why I like it. Because I do get sort of that same rush. And I really feel like I have accomplished something when I win. It's not because I have, well, sometimes it's because I have a character that's OP. I'm gonna be honest. I tier whore it up. I don't make any bones about it.
But you know what? It's funny. The reason I ask is that, like I said, we've been around this. We look at this game every day for many hours, many hours and meowers.
Meow.
That's what I'm talking about right now. The getting into a game like this is a trick for us, because now we're looking at where Elsword's going on the open stream, and people keep asking us, how come you guys aren't on PvP circuits? Like, this is a Twitch based, like, basically Smash Brothers the MMO, and you have this massive, like, hardcore meta that exists on this PvP front that you guys aren't taking advantage of. Why aren't you here? Why aren't you here? And to be honest, we didn't think about it. We're just like, it's Elsword.
Yeah, I could see this doing well in an esports arena. This kind of PvP, I could see it. I need to figure out what mission I'm doing next. That's the hard part for me, because when I sort of get away from it, I lose track of what I'm doing.
Hey, you got 99 levels worth of stuff in Elsword. That's easy.
Yeah, just move on and find the next thing.
Well, at least what's great is you click on your quest tab and it tells you where to go next.
Think there's a neat blue arrow. There's a blue arrow. I know that means a quest. But yeah, no. Is my story quest broken? That's not good.
I don't think it's broken.
So when you click on the quest tab for queue up, if you queue up on quest, it'll open up the map, and then it'll show you all of the different map areas that have a queue on it that says this is where you need to go next.
Because I don't have any on my dungeons.
I require you to go to an area.
Oh, this one said I need to relog. Let's try that. We're about done for the day anyway, so.
It's true.
Oh, there it is. I stared right at it too. Oh, I missed some of the Bethma quests. Okay. Well, I do think that's probably going to about do it for us today anyways, unless you guys have some questions for my wonderful guests. And
if you guys are taking a look at our PvP, if you guys are looking at these, especially like our you Elsword players that are out there, or if anybody has any questions about how to get into Elsword, where you don't necessarily have to be rushing into like pro status, or you're curious about, I mean, we've got an Amazon shop, there's so much stuff that we offer as both a company and as a game publisher. And if there's any questions, I mean, feel free to go ahead and shoot them our way. We're a small team, so we have the flexibility and ability to answer questions directly. And if you have people that are worried or wondering about why we don't get onto esports, why we don't run tournaments in this capacity, or what can I do in order to get into Elsword to just be X, Y, Z, it doesn't matter. Like, feel free to reach out to us, or even go through you, and we'll be more than willing to kind of jump on and answer questions as best we can.
Excellent. Sounds good. If you guys don't have anything else, we can probably just about wrap this up. It's been a lot of fun, though. I enjoy popping on and talking the latest updates with you guys and stuff that's coming up. Are there any spoilers we can sort of wring out of you?
Pretty much spoiled it already.
Yeah, he spoiled it hard. We haven't even announced it internally as far as like what's coming up. So next Wednesday, that dungeon is the new dungeon is going to be coming out.
There's always the VOD, Mike. It'll be here. And it should hopefully be on YouTube in probably within the next couple of days or so. I'm not
this
really
new
sure.
we haven't even done our own promo stuff yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, you literally hear it here first. I mean, you literally have heard it here first.
Yeah.
Very true. It's like very, very true.
All right, guys. I'm probably not streaming tomorrow on MMOHuts Live because it'll be the weekend, and it's a 3-day weekend, so there will be no stream Monday.
Yay.
But we'll probably, God, I'm so happy. I'm so tired with Gamescom, then PAX. Do we get the, Eliza Vale asks, do we get the PvP Stones system rework?
I mean, we're constantly discussing about the PvP, like especially the arena system. But it's been there for so long. It's like integrated deeply into the system that we need to really like slowly make changes on it.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're referring to an update that has happened in Korea, you can bet your sweet bottom that it's on the table as far as what we're discussing and when it's going to be implemented, if it has to be tweaked, why it's going to be tweaked, and then when it's going to hit our server.
There you go.
He means your butt.
Thanks for the translation, Jay.
You're welcome. You know how good. Localization.
Localization. Localize for me.
Yes, so that new dungeon is coming out next week. As in
Wednesday.
Yes. Yeah. Hell yeah. What did I tell you guys? I get you the news. I get it done.
You do.
By hook or by crook, I get it done. Alright, guys. Thank you both so much for coming out. I do appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you so much. Now
you.
we look forward to it too.
Yeah, and I look forward to hang out with you guys again. I don't know what we're doing next week here on the channel, but I do know where it will be. It'll be next time right here on MMOHuts Live.